The question of the day, folks, are you ready with your wealth? What are you doing with your wealth? I have a very special guest today, Michelle Brennan Hall. How you doing today?
Oh, great, Kary. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Listen, I am so thrilled. I got to meet your family last week in Nashville. You were on the red carpet holding your book. We were going live all over the world, but today is your special launch day. How does it feel, first of all?
This book is a real important book, and I'm just excited that we're getting this broad view
Mm,
of the book. I think it's going to be important for families of all net worth levels,
yes.
and I think I've been doing this for over 30 years, advising families on their net worth decisions and their wealth decisions, and um, there are certain things that continue to plague families. And I think that's really why the book was born.
Wow, wow. Well, listen, we have people jumping in from all over. We got links being dropped here, but I love the subtitle. It's the blueprint for eliminating worry, clarifying your financial purpose, and creating a long-lasting inheritance. You and I have had chats about what wealth is, and wealth is much more than money. What do you think wealth is?
Well, I think at the core of why people worry about money is that they don't want to, I mean, these wealth creators don't want to be reduced to just passing on assets. Because
Mm,
when we truly think about what it is that we want to pass on to the next generation, I mean, especially now in this environment that seems very inflamed,
mm,
it's so important for grandparents, matriarchs, patriarchs to pass on values. Why do we have family traditions? That's where our memories are born.
yes.
That's how we create great moms and dads in the next generation.
Mm,
Telling stories of maybe family heritage. They came from another country, and that's how we are here. Maybe it's um, you know having time to share wisdom. I will tell you, some of the best stories I heard when I was growing up were the difficult stories that my parents told us
wow.
about when they were first married, and they
Yes.
used this envelope budgeting system where every time they got paid, they put money in the rent envelope and in the Christmas envelope. And
Yes.
and so uh, those are things I'm still telling that story.
Wow. So that is a wealth asset that's been passed on.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
that is also, in the very early stages of the book, the reader gets this ability to start thinking through, we call it the pillars of wealth. Part of
Mm,
that are certainly financial assets, but the rest of it is, what is it that you want to breed into your family? I mean, who do you stand for as a family? Is it philanthropy? And if it is, why do you choose one over the other, or why do you have 35 different nonprofits that you support? These are really the assets that I think moms and dads want to pass on, and I know for sure these are assets that our kids want to have from us. They love stories.
so good. I love what you say here. The three these are just three of the top benefits, but connect to your why. So
Yes,
you can understand the motivations behind your financial goals. I think if you get that one wrong, everything gets wrong. What do you think?
that's chapter one,
Wow.
right?
Wow. There's a guy named Michael Hyatt. His wife Gail says, people who lose their way are people who've lost their why.
That's powerful.
And I think that's what your book is saying. You're basically saying, look, you're not going to find your way to wealth unless you have your why.
Well, it's I think that, I mean, this book is not about how to create wealth. There are many investment books out there. It's not about estate planning. There's lots of books on that as well. This book is 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 a connection book,
Mm,
because why did I build my company? Why do I invest? Why do I help my boys invest? Why is it that we live where we live, that we drive the cars that we drive? These are why did I want them to go to college? Why do I want them to have a career?
That's
Why
good.
do I want you? So these are things that we have to be connected to first,
Yes.
so that we can speak to our spouse about it, what's important, and then that gets translated to the next generation, because mom and dad are worried about a lot of things, right? As parents, that's what we do. We have a baby and we worry.
That's right.
But
That
they
is the
worry.
truth.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
I only have
my
two,
wife
but
and I have a joke. I literally walked out of the baby doctor's office when she first found out she was pregnant. She said, "Let's call our parents," and I said, "Let's open a college fund."
there
Because
you go.
not that I was but suddenly you think there's another life that you have to be responsible for.
Oh my. And it's and that thought just continues through adulthood.
Yeah.
And I don't we don't stop parenting when our kids turn 16 and can drive themselves wherever. We don't stop parenting when they're legal age or graduate from college or start a career. We parent our whole lives through. My mom is 85. I've never been 85, and I'm learning how to be 85. I am
Wow.
seeing her example of life and dedication.
But
And
that's that
so,
wealth that you're talking about. Like, she's
yes,
literally giving you wealth, but not in the dollars. She's giving you wisdom.
yes, yes.
Wow.
And because my father was a financial advisor, my parents aren't worried about how will an inheritance be utilized. But I will tell you, it is the number one worry of people with any amount of money. We're at the center of financial decisions for high net worth families.
Mm.
And it dawned on us, some years ago, that they're all still worried about one thing. And that is, how are my kids? Well, first of all, most men are still making the financial decisions for long-term wealth.
Hmm.
And so they're worried about their wife. And is she going to know what to do when I'm gone? Which is mostly why so many families hire us, because of the care that we wrap around these families and their decisions.
Oh.
But it's also a worry of mom and dad. What is going to happen to this inheritance? They're worried that maybe it's going to just be blown. Their hard-earned money is going to be blown. And I always ask this question: what have you done? What have you done about that?
Hmm.
And they don't know. They don't know what to do. So the book, Project Family Wealth, is about this long-term dedication to having important conversations, to teaching the next generation about what to do with money, how to handle money, show them the way, or get them into a program like Project Family Wealth, so
Mm.
that they can begin to understand, okay, this is what mom and dad want. We get the question all the time: what did mom and dad want us to do with this money?
Interesting. And
So we
if
want
you
it to be
pass on your legacy or your values, you don't know.
yeah, if you don't, I mean, the worst thing that can be done with money is that one person in the family and one person only knows what's going on, and then followed quickly by important questions are never asked.
Wow. Oh, that's good. That's
And
good.
that happens in almost every family.
Mm.
They have to, you have to work with a financial advisor who cares about this.
Mm. Wow. So let me ask you this. I mean, I just showed a picture to the people. It was so cool to have you on the red carpet. Can you see that, by the way? You
It's
see it?
uploading. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look at all
So
those great authors.
oh my gosh. So here's the book, and you had a book signing, and you were here with hundreds of entrepreneurs. You're on the red carpet. But how surreal is it, first of all? Because how long have you wanted to publish?
I would say, well, I probably have been thinking about writing a book for about 10 years.
Wow.
I got serious about it 5 years ago. And the reason why 10 years versus 5 years, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anyone like you. I didn't know that writing a book could actually, and now that I've written a book, now everybody's asking me, how did you do that? And what's the process? And I always tell them, don't do it alone, because you're gonna have you have great ideas, but somebody else needs to do editing and make sure that we're not stepping on someone else's toes,
Sure.
and just make sure that the essence of what you want to say in a book is actually said. So
But
it's a dream come true, honestly, Kary.
I love it. Our team is so honored to, you got Travis here, you got Sarah, you got Melissa, you got lots of people are here.
Oh, love it.
Plus this is going out all over the place. But I would almost say that it's true about wealth too. Like, I don't know how to do all this stuff you do. And shame on me if I think, well, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm just going to, how dumb would that be to not hire, Michelle and her company. I mean, this is what you do. You can feel your passion. Talk to us a little bit more. What do you hope happens with this book?
I really hope that it changes the way that people and families first of all, think about wealth. I really do want for families to understand that wealth is so much broader than the assets that are represented by a dollar sign.
Mm. Mm.
I want that to be the biggest thing. I also want for moms and dads to come together, because I'm going to tell you, the successful families that have created this kind of environment for their family, it always starts with mom and dad being very engaged in their long-term financial goals, being on the same page. And that is still, unfortunately, a very small percentage of people. And now I will say this is not about women who don't work outside of the house. This is true for executives at very high levels, for women who are incredibly successful business owners, women who are in charge of hundreds of millions of dollars or balance sheets that they have to run inside of these corporations. And they don't want to step on the field with me and say, yes, we can do this. Wow. For some reason, there's a block. And I want to be that example for all women to understand that if we have a life, if we've got a heartbeat, we have financial stewardship that is our responsibility. So moms out there, if you are watching this, this is as much your role, because you know what we get? We win the game. We won the lotto, Kary. We win the longevity game.
Yeah. So you're saying most women will outlive a guy. And so they have to be ready. Wow.
Have to be ready. Got to be. In fact, I encourage the female, the mom, the woman, spouse, to be the one who's making the life insurance decisions.
Ooh, because what? You see it all. I mean, you see the woman, the widow who calls you frantically saying, I don't even know what we have or what.
That is definitely. It's I don't know. I mean, do you have his passwords to his computer at the office? So we create these tools and worksheets for families. In the book, there are conversation starters. So, okay, this is also about financial IQ and EQ. Both are necessary. Okay, so men are traditionally associated with the financial IQ side of the equation.
Okay.
So what do they want to know about money? They want to know, how is it invested? Who's the money manager? What are the expenses? And what's the track record? Okay, so they want empirical evidence and data. Great.
And again, these are generalizations, but you've seen it all
Sure.
in your industry. Yeah. Okay.
True. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because it's not always this way. We have clients who, where the female is the one who is the lead on all of the financial decisions.
Sure.
So financial EQ is typically associated with women. And here's what women want to know about money.
Okay.
If I put X amount into this 529 plan for the college graduation of our grandkids, will we be able to send each one of those grandkids to college? It is about impact. Women want to know what's the outcome. Right? So these two forces coming together.
Wow.
That's really, really, really important. And when we get the opportunity to see the two of them, it's like Wonder Twins activate, where you've got IQ and EQ coming together. There is nothing wrong with emotion. I'll tell you, more stuff gets done with the emotions, the heart of an issue, than about some intellectual data, but they're both necessary in families.
That is awesome. And it's no wonder a guy like Dan Sullivan endorses your book. I mean, look at this. How did that feel to have your coach and my coach, the source of whom we met together, endorse it?
Well, Dan is a man among men. He is, there aren't too many people on this earth that I know who are so open and who just want the best for everyone. I was floored. I was honored. And I quote him in the book, because one of the most important things that Dan tells us, and he reminds us over and over and over again at Strategic Coach, he says, always be sure to make your future bigger than your past.
Yes.
There you go. So that's the gem in the book as well, is then I take families through, how do we do this? Right? How do we make, so yeah, you may have made mistakes in the past. We all make mistakes with money. You may not have, I've had some clients say, well, is it too late? Oh my goodness, no. It's not too late to start this. It's not too late to pour in a positive vibe into your family. And now more than ever, giving hope to the next generation and to your grandchildren is just ever more important. And I think that goes back to Dan Sullivan. He just remains positive no matter what's going on, and he coaches us to do the same as he does. So it was incredible for him to endorse the book.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I see here you have a team. Looks like some may be related to you.
Yes.
Maybe.
Right.
But how cool is that? I got to give your sons Cameron and Peyton a shout out, because here we were on stage last week, and I had them. You know me. If I have a microphone, you better be ready. So I brought them up on stage, and they both gave a tribute to you, which to me is the whole thing about this wealth. Like, how wealthy did you feel having your sons edify you?
I am, as parents, we have these beautiful memories throughout our young people's lives, etched, in our mind and our heart. And that was one of them. I mean, my boys I never thought that they would be, I never thought that they would have the opportunity. And I was speechless, which everyone who knows me, that's not usual.
That's
But
good.
it was a beautiful moment, Kary, and I'm
Mm.
grateful that you made that happen for us. They were over the moon with it as well.
Well, I mean, I look at your website, I look at the book, I look at how a book is powerful because here's what happens, Michelle, you know this. A lot of times people talk about a book and they're like, "Oh, that's great because it's passive income." But I say, you know what? A book is passive impact. In other words, people can now come to you, Michelle, like one of our people just said, Melissa, as a woman, this is spot on, she says. But you
Oh,
know, you may have somebody that you meet in a city, she's serving you at a restaurant, you meet her on the plane. You can't give her 4 hours of your time, but you can hand her a book and say, this will change your life. How cool is that you now have Michelle's brain in a portable way?
well, I mean, when you put it like that, if this is the
No, 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 no.
Michelle's brain.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, thank you.
well, I've heard that books are the most dense form of content, and people want books more than podcasts because podcasts you're just kind of talking and but when you write a book, I mean, I've seen your table of contents. It is a journey. And you tell people, I'm going to take you to this street, this street, this street, this street, this street, and we're going to arrive at this destination. Let's
Yes.
talk about your subtitle because that is really the destination of where all books go is the subtitle. And your subtitle says eliminating worry. Let's just stop there. Let's just stop right there. What if you could buy this book, folks, and literally for $15 to $20 not have worry? What is it? How is this going to accomplish this, Michelle?
Well, when I think about the husbands that are our clients,
Mm,
I know that he worries about really three things. And he worries about what's going to happen. He doesn't worry about retirement accumulation. He doesn't worry about how much money he has. I mean, they're not worried about how the estate plan is structured or anything like that. He's worried
mm.
about his wife and really her disengagement.
And what do you mean by that? Disengagement.
Well, many times I just meet with the male of the couple.
Mm,
Um, and she'll say things if she comes to the meeting, say things like, "Oh, I just let him handle that. I don't know much about this."
mm,
Well, there isn't any guy who knows anything about this,
mm.
right? Her husband is great at what he does. I'm great at what I do. That's why they're sitting in my office. But for some
Wow.
reason, women are saying, I'm just going to let my husband handle that.
Mm.
And they don't talk the same language, right? So and that's getting back to that IQ, EQ. He
Yes.
wants to show her maybe some net worth ledgers or statements from investment companies, or talk about insurance plans, or go over wills and estate documents. She does not want to have anything to do with that.
Well,
But
let's even
Kary,
talk about that. Is how politically incorrect is that? I know some people are going to be watching this. They're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Michelle's actually telling us that men and women think differently." But you're like, "Look, Kary, I don't care what PC is. I'm
oh
just
no.
telling you the facts."
Yeah, but let me yes, that is, yes, I would say that's very true. And
Yeah.
I want this book could be a glass breaking moment,
Oh,
because I do want to call it out. I mean, we women are so capable. So here's the thing. From chapter 1, we talk about getting in touch with your why.
wow.
So for all the men who are listening, can you imagine what your wife's response would be if instead you said something like, "You are the heart of my why. I
Wow.
love our family. I love the life we've built. And I do everything I do so that we can continue to have this life. And it worries me that you might not be prepared for the day that I am not here. It worries me that the
Mm.
kids are not engaged and don't know how to handle finances. Would you go with me to meet Michelle Brennan Hall and have her talk to us about how we can get on the same page?"
Wow.
You think any female's gonna say, "Not interested"? No,
Wow.
it's about the approach.
Interesting.
It's about the approach. So, yeah, it might be a little, you know, politically incorrect to say this, but what's behind the scenes is that they're not talking the same language.
Mm. Hey, listen, I think you're gonna turn a lot of heads in a good way with this, whole live stream here.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, so we got just a couple minutes left. So you totally hit eliminating worry, now clarifying your purpose. That was that whole statement you just said, "Hey, honey, I love the life we've created." And then the long-lasting inheritance. Talk about that piece a moment. That's the whole handoff to the next generation.
It is, and I'll tell you, I workshopped this book and the concept of it, the big concepts that I wanted um, to, to really lead with. That's why that's in the subtitle.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, when I would be at strategic coach workshops with these incredible business owners, and I would workshop and socialize this concept, I will tell you the one thing
Mm,
that everyone wanted to know more about was, tell me how I can create a long lasting inheritance.
mm,
Right. So the book is truly about that. I mean, from chapter 1, get connected to your why. And then we go into discussions about how do you engage the spouse, whether it's a male spouse or, you know, whoever's dealing with the money, we need the other spouse involved. And then how do we get the next generation, whether they be teenagers or 7, 9, and 11 years old, or they happen to be 40s, 50s, and 60s. It doesn't matter, but you have to engage them, because I'll tell you, that next generation is also worried. They're worried about mom and dad. Have they prepared for long-term care if that's needed? What do they want us to do? How can we help them make decisions?
mm.
What role do we play in this estate? So I will tell you that an inheritance should never be a surprise. Now,
Wow.
I am not talking about telling anyone in your family that you're going to inherit this dollar amount or that dollar amount. I think that is very dangerous.
Mm,
But it should not be a surprise who the executor is. The executor should be engaged early. The family should understand that this is why this person has been chosen.
mm,
And the family should be encouraged, because it's an all hands on deck when the second spouse dies. There's a lot that has to happen with an estate, and so everyone should know their role. I mean,
mm,
passing the baton is all about educating that next generation. First of all, telling them what your expectations are.
mm,
Secondly, parents are to connect with this emotional side. They are to connect. Like, you know, in Texas, we've got great big family ranches that have been passed from generation to generation to generation.
mm.
And from day one, these little tykes understand this is our family land
Wow.
and what they're going to be involved in. And so it's no different. It
Wow.
doesn't have to be land. It's how these assets are going to be
Legacy.
passed on.
Yeah. This is great. Listen, we've never had such an engaged crowd here. We have Susan Toth, widowed at 55. She had not been involved in finances. It was a huge struggle. Just chatted with her and her husband. You know, they both, two widows, found each other, but now she's engaged, you know, and you got people quoting you. Inheritance should never be a surprise. You're just going to need to go through. Payne's going to need to go through and get all your quotes.
We'll love it.
You were dropping some quotes here. No, but this is great. Folks, I'm just going to encourage you, you know, we're out of time here, but go to the BrennanWealthAdvisors.com website. Get the book on Amazon. Reach out to Michelle. I love how she said it. And we're just so proud of you. Everyone at Igniting Souls is super proud of you. I'm so glad Strategic Coach connected us.
Oh gosh, I am too. I mean, without you, I don't know that this project really would be seeing the light. And so I'm grateful for you and your whole team. It's magical. And just thank you so much for
thank you
for being on this journey with us.
All right, folks, you know where to get the book. Get it today. Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Kary. Bye, everybody.